Thank you all for being here. Please go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. And once you've done so, please go ahead and bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath, allowing your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. This meditation technique will allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and to rest, to become quiet and still. When you're ready in your own time, please go ahead and transition into meditation on the inner body. Be like a mountain with consciousness as you silently observe sensations within your inner body. Sensations that may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. Just be the silent observer. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no expectation. Day after day, year after year, century after century, the mountain simply observes silently. Especially during these colder days, these shorter days, these days in which the sun remains lower on the horizon, the domain of the mountain is especially still, especially contemplative, especially inward focused. Be like a mountain as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Whether this meditation continues for a few more moments or a few more decades. Let the mountain be your teacher. Let the mountain be your role model. Now, very gently, very, very gently, please redirect your awareness. Become aware again of this entity we've decided to label physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, and become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of nearby mountains, of nearby countries, of nearby continents, of nearby planets. And you can know that you are not these phenomena, nor are you separate from these phenomena. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May leaders of countries who are at odds with one another soon come to recognize that nothing is accomplished with minds of anger, and instead may they resolve their differences with empathy, wisdom, acceptance, and compassion. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back. Welcome back, friends. If anyone has a question that you'd like to ask, or something you'd like to share, or an objection, please, you Zoomers, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask away or share away. You know, when I was in my first year or two or three of meditation practice, a question that I would, or question / thought that would often come to me, is tell me again why we do this particular practice, right? Like where, like I'm not really sure that I'm clear on where this is going and what the objective of this is. And if you guys, any of you, are still having this question, that's completely fine, completely fine. Please ask away, either during our classes, or if you want to send me an email. Like, for example, the meditation on the inner body. You know, it is a completely valid question to ask. Tell me again how observing sensations within my inner body is going to lead to awakening, or at least a relief from suffering, if not full awakening. Yeah, so just those questions, you know, again, in my early days, it was like, I know I should know the answer to this, but I'm still not clear on it after all this time. And I feel like I should know, so I'm not going to ask. don't go down that path, please. If you have questions, no matter how many times it comes, no matter how many times we have to address it or get to address it, it's worthwhile. We really need to know our conceptual thinking mind needs to be really clear about why we are doing a particular practice, have a clear understanding of what the benefits of that practice are, so that the thinking mind can be pacified and just can kind of rest at ease before we sort of enter into an experiencing of the practice that goes beyond reasons, that goes beyond connecting the dots. So the thinking mind will never be completely pacified, but we can pacify it to a degree, pacify it temporarily, and that will open a window for us to experience the benefits of a practice rather than simply understanding them. And that's where real growth will come. So anyways, enough on that. So in Friday's class, we pulled back the curtain. We pulled back the curtain on the mother of all sacred cows, coffee, or coffee in particular, caffeine in general. And we also talked about other activities that we sort of engage in that may help take the edge off, being in the world, being in this world that has a lot of suffering. What we talked about was, these different things that we need to help to enable us to face the world: coffee, certain types of food, screens. Music is one sometimes. Music can help take the edge off and kind of maybe put us in a different state of mind so that we can go out and face the day. And let me just say parenthetically that nowhere is anyone saying, not at least in this class or in the teachings that we draw from, no one is saying that we should not enjoy beverages. No one is saying that we shouldn't enjoy movies or music, right? Enjoying them without attachment is completely allowed and encouraged. It's when we grasp at and then cling onto things that are external to us with the hope and perhaps even expectation that they will be salvation from suffering, that's where it becomes problematic. If we need coffee, music, the smartphone, whatever it might be to get us through the day, that's worth noting. It's worth noting that that's our relationship with these entities. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about the first noble truth of you should know suffering. Now, nowhere in the sutras is the topic of coffee addressed, right? Cafe, like cafe macchiato, as far as I know, not addressed in the sutras. What is addressed is dukkha, Dukkha, dukkha. It's a Sanskrit word which does not translate well to English. And the deeper my familiarity with dukkha, the deeper my appreciation for the fact that it does not translate well into English. It's a really subtle term. Kind of the most coarse translation is unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha, dukkha, kind of the most convenient and in my opinion, the most coarse, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but the more unrefined translation is unsatisfactory. But dukkha goes to so much more subtle levels than that, that I really don't feel like I'm any closer to being able to put words to it. But I'll still give some kind of threads of thought that maybe will be helpful, hopefully will be helpful. The suffering of dukkha is this vague notion, this subtle sense that something is amiss, that something is not quite right, which necessarily means, again, this is a pretty coarse, um, a pretty coarse um, thought thread, is that if we sense vaguely at some subtle low grade level that it's just not quite right, that's necessarily saying that we're not satisfied with it, that we're not satisfied with what is, with our state of existence. An analogy that my teacher uses to describe dukkha is it's like being in the center of a thorn bush and trying to find a comfortable place, a place where you can be comfortable and free from suffering and being pricked. And here in the Southwest, we would call it cat's claw. It's like being in a cat's claw bush and trying to get that right sweet spot where you're not experiencing any pricks or pokes or scratches. That's kind of like what dukkha is. This notion that something is amiss, something's missing, something's just not quite right. And in our attempt to try to find comfort within the cat's claw bush, we become increasingly reliant. We kind of go into almost like a sleepwalking phase, a state of being asleep, when we just go more and more often with more and more determination to these activities or objects of consumption that we think will bring us that relief. But we don't really even think that. We just go through the motions, whether it's having our tea or coffee in the morning, just enable us to get out of the house and face the world. Or music, maybe music will change my state of consciousness and make this samsara more easier to endure. The phone, the screen, the movie. Yeah, this movie, just give me a break from the sufferings of samsara. If we're present enough to even have that thought. This is dukkha. This is what is being referred to in the First Noble Truth. You should know suffering. And we should know suffering not so that we can put ourselves in a greater state of discouragement and then suffer more. It's to come to a place that the purpose of it, dear friends, and please may this resonate with you. The purpose of coming to know suffering is so that we can have a clear understanding of where we are, what our mode of existence is, what our state of existence is right now, thus enabling us to develop the resolve to do better, to come up with a better alternative. That's the reason for knowing suffering. These kind of contemporary examples that I'm using, the classic ones given in the sutras, are aging, sickness, death, rebirth, aging, sickness, death, over and over and over. Once we come to know suffering, draw back the curtain, take a clear, honest, courageous assessment of where we are and what this life as we know it involves, then we will develop the determination, the conviction, because I love myself, because I love those around me, I'm going to come up with a better way. And we'll talk about what the better way is and how we do it in Friday's class when we get into the second of the Noble Truths. You should attain cessation. You should attain cessation from your suffering, from the sufferings of dukkha. Happy Monday, you guys. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you on Friday.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, Jeff.
Welcome. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Diana. Thank you. Bye, John. Bye, Tetta.